Some developing and breaking San Francisco 49ers news on this Sunday. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you, and the news is that the Niners are closing in on signing All-Pro linebacker Fred Warner to a contract extension. This, of course, comes after the 49ers signed two of their other franchise cornerstones and tight end George Kittle a couple of weeks ago. Quarterback Brock Purdy on Friday, two new big money deals to keep both of those pillars in place with San Francisco for the foreseeable future. Before we talk about all of that, you know what I need you to do? Go on down, hit that subscribe button. If you want daily 49ers coverage from yours truly, we're north of 160,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button right now. And of course, I hope all of you are having a phenomenal weekend. Jennifer Lee Chan of NBC Sports Bay Area with this report here today saying on NBC Sports Bay Area that after brokering significant extensions with both Brock Purdy and George Kittle, the 49ers are now very close to finalizing a multi-year contract extension with star linebacker Fred Warner, sources tell NBC Sports Bay Area. San Francisco appears to have learned from its past and desires of a drama-free offseason unlike 2024, where multiple players were absent from team headquarters while working through contract negotiations. Couple of takeaways from that. It was time for the 49ers to learn their lesson. And it was time for the Niners to learn their lesson from a standpoint of causing and bringing on unnecessary drama, noise, and friction, and just start getting these deals done early. And then on the other part of that, when the Niners in the past have waited so long to get these contract extensions done, they've cost themselves a lot of money because it's opened up the door and an avenue for the market to get reset at the positions in which they've signed players to. For instance, a great example was last offseason with Brandon Ayuk, when if the Niners signed him earlier on in the offseason, Ayuk had even said, I would have taken a deal, but the Niners didn't really offer him a contract that he thought was justified. Ayuk would have signed that deal, and it could have been around $25 million per year. That's right there with Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, and that's probably the market for Brandon Ayuk, especially with the Niners offense that doesn't really prioritize throwing the ball a ton, and Brandon Ayuk very rarely is going to have more than 100 targets per year. Instead, what happened? The Niners waited. They messed around. The market got reset because all of these wide receivers signed their contracts, and Ayuk's looking around saying, all right, well, if you guys are going to wait, market has changed. I'm not going to sign that old deal. You got to up the ante a little bit. You got to give me some more money. And the Niners ended up signing him to that deal of $30 million per season. And so with George Kittle, Trey McBride reset the tight end market a little bit, but tight ends from a financial sense are still a great bargain compared to what wide receivers make across the NFL. Wide receivers are making 30, 35, 40 plus million dollars. Tight ends play a huge role in these offenses, yet George Kittle becomes the highest paid tight end in the history of the NFL at $19.1 million, and no tight end has cracked 20. With the NFL salary cap rising, and it's going to continue to go up, there is going to be a tight end soon, Brock Bowers probably, who's going to probably reach that $20+ million threshold. But in getting that deal done, it's not like the Niners had to wildly overpay for Kittle. They gave him $100,000 more as compared to Trey McBride. And with Brock Purdy, it's an interesting offseason at the quarterback position where this was the first new deal for quarterbacks this offseason when you factor in the deal of this magnitude and this specific situation. And that's why I like the Brock Purdy contract, because usually when it's the first deal of its kind, you do have to kind of reset the market, or oftentimes the market is reset. Dak Prescott got $60 million per year last year. The Niners signed Purdy on May 16th of 2025. They get him for $53. Right now, he's tied for being the seventh highest paid quarterback in the NFL. But soon, what's going to happen? These other quarterbacks are going to get paid top dollar. These QB contracts are going to be between $60 and $70 million. Looking at Jaden Daniels and those types of QBs, and pretty soon won't be a top 10 highest paid quarterback before we know it. And so that's why I think that deal could end up being a steal for San Francisco if Purdy continues to play well and he continues to be on the trajectory that he's been on. And so it's good that the Niners have learned their lesson, because in the business world, in sports, there's just no need for friction, for awkwardness, for drama, for noise to be surrounding your organization. And last year, there was a dark cloud hovering over this team with Ayuk, for a little bit with Christian McCaffrey, with Trent Williams. And what did it result in? A year in which the Niners offense was just so clunky, and there was no rhythm or flow to the offense at all. And so the Niners are going to sign Fred Warner here soon, and it's a good move. And it does come in an offseason in which there has been a little bit of a reset for linebackers, off-ball coverage guys, not to the point where we've seen players become the highest-paid linebacker in the history of the National Football League or in the NFL, but the price tag for linebackers has gone up a little bit, and that started with Zach Bond, who was a first-team All-Pro alongside Fred Warner, getting $17 million per year. And then other linebackers in free agency really got paid a lot. And so this is a no-brainer. You lock up your franchise quarterback, you lock up your franchise tight end, you lock up your franchise linebacker, and with those players, you are making sound and safe investments outside of the potential injury risk. What I mean by that is you never worry about Brock Purdy off the field. You never worry about George Kittle or Fred Warner off the field. They are consummate pros, team leaders, part of the fabric of this organization, part of the backbone of the San Francisco 49ers. And those are the core pieces that you want in your building to set the tone and set the example for everybody else. Now, Jennifer Lee Chan continued by saying, the veteran defender spoke to NBC Sports Bay Area on Saturday while at his Pro Camps event camp at St. Francis High School in Mountain View. Warner discussed how different the 2025 offseason has been, considering extensions already have been inked for both Kittle and Purdy. The players have said themselves why it's important to get these deals done early instead of letting this stuff linger. Here's what Warner said, quote, I think it's obviously worked out really well being able to knock those things out earlier, allowing us to focus just purely on ball and getting better as a team, so things are moving in the right direction. When you lock up Purdy, Kittle, Warner, you don't have to worry about all the other stuff. You drafted your rookies. You've made some changes. You've let high-priced veterans walk out the door. You've eaten some dead cap, but you've also opened up some money. You've locked up your franchise cornerstones. Your core is now in place, and once mandatory minicamp, OTAs, and training camp and the season come around, all the focus is on football instead of all the other stuff, unlike last year when the focus was on Ayuk and Trent. And it caused a lot of friction within the organization. People just looking over their shoulder. Are we going to get these deals done at some point? What's our team going to look like in week one? There won't be those questions here for the Niners going into 2025. And that's important, especially because they're really trying to rebound after last year's 6-11 season. And my gosh, do they have a wonderful opportunity to do that with the easiest schedule in the entire National Football League. And so there has been a common thread between the dynamics of getting Purdy done, Kittle done, soon Warner. It's not only how elite they are on the field, but the Niners value them as leaders in the locker room. And I think how they've handled their situations individually as players has also made the Niners say, let's lock these guys up, man. With Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, they take to social media. They caused some of the drama. They'd put out cryptic messages. They made things messy themselves, all in the effort of leverage. But what have Purdy, Kittle, and Warner done? They've been inside the building, participating in these offseason programs. We need more guys like that in professional sports because all the other stuff, it's just old. I don't care about Instagram stories anymore. If Brandon Ayuk wants to tweet out at Mike Tomlin, sure, we're going to talk about it, but all that stuff is tired. Purdy, Kittle, Warner, they don't go about it in that way. And for Warner, what a special player. With him and Kittle, you never want to see them rocking another jersey outside of a Niners uniform. Kittle, best tight end in football, multi-time All-Pro, and you can age well at the tight end position. With Warner, you can age well at the linebacker spot. And he's still, 27, 28 years old? Still a lot of good football left for Kittle and Warner, the older players, as compared to Purdy, when talking about these extensions. And for Warner, one of one, man. One of one. It's very rare that you watch NFL games and you just see number 54 playing the game that the way that he does and causing the level of destruction and havoc that he does. He's one of the few players in the NFL who you really take pride in and make an effort to just watching him instead of watching the ball. When you're watching a broadcast copy of an NFL game, usually you're following the ball. That's what you do because that dictates the outcome of the play, right? But when I find myself watching Niner games, it's impossible to not just watch 54. So smart, so intelligent, plays with such great feel and instinct, such great energy, makes people around him better, and he's going to go down as one of the best linebackers of all time. 4-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, all in 7 seasons. He's been a starter since his first year. He's racked up nearly 900 tackles, 569 of them solo, 36 TFLs. He's forced 15 fumbles, 10 interceptions. He's returned 2 of them for touchdowns. He's produced 53 pass breakups and 10 quarterback sacks. He does it all. The MVP of the defense. And you know what's crazy about Warner too? The durability and the longevity. He has missed 1 game in his entire NFL career since being drafted by the San Francisco 49ers out of BYU in the 3rd round. And what a great pick that has ended up being. You do a redraft of that year, Fred Warner's the top 15 pick. Easily. And so durability, being a team captain, being a great player, being a great leader on and off the field, that's what can help you get compensated and just not causing some of the extracurricular, unwanted, unneeded drama and noise. With Warner's contract, it runs through 2026. It was a 5-year extension worth $95.2 million. So getting this deal done now rewards the 5-time team captain financially. And then there's never any doubt about his long-term future with the team. I'm pretty sure that he either didn't have any guaranteed money left on his contract or it was getting to a point where that guaranteed money was starting to close up and dry up. And he's probably due for a new deal just considering the landscape of where the off-ball linebacker market is. Roquan Smith is the highest paid linebacker in the game. He's making $20 million per year. Fred Warner is at just over $19 million, and he signed that back in 2021. So the deal is a little bit outdated. He got $40.5 million in total guaranteed money. And now, when you look at total guaranteed money, Roquan Smith got 60, Tremaine Edmonds got 50, and then there's Fred Warner at 40.5. And so the Niners now probably going to make him the highest paid linebacker in the game. That's at least what Jennifer Lee Chan is reporting here. And I like how she said, according to sources, she was at Fred Warner's football camp. So the source here is Fred Warner. But Roquan's making 20. As I said, Fred Warner's just over $19 million. So he'll become the highest paid off-ball linebacker in the game, and it'll be $20+ million in average annual value. And some of the linebacker contracts that we've seen this offseason, which has shifted this linebacker market a little bit. Zach Bond got 17. Jamie Sherwood got 15. Nick Bolton got 15. And so that has caused the market to just shift a little bit as far as off-ball linebackers. Azeez Al-Shire, he signed his deal 2 free agency periods ago. He's making 11.3. Dre Greenlaw's there at 10.5. And so, yeah, north of 20, it's a lot for Fred Warner, but considering the player who he is, it's all worth it. And it's the player who he is on and off the field and the meaning that he has to this organization. And right now, what is he? I just want to get the exact age right. I said, 27, 28 earlier. He'll be 29 on November 19th. So, look, we've seen linebackers play elite football going into their mid-30s. I mean, you think about a player like Ray Lewis, that's a name that comes to mind with a ton of longevity to him. He played up until he was 37 years old. And he was a Pro Bowler at 36. He was an All-Pro at 35, 34, 33 years old. So there's still some really good ball left for Fred Warner. I think genetics are on his side too because he's missed one game in his entire career. And how about what he did last year? I mean, he suffered a broken bone in his ankle in week 4 and didn't miss the rest of the season. And that included an Arizona game in week 18 where Niners knew their season was over. They knew it was a wrap. Fred Warner knew it was a wrap. Still played in that game. Guy is built different. So Fred Warner and the Niners going to hash out a new contract extension very, very soon. Wanted to bring you that news here on the 49ers Report. Don't forget to hit that sub button. I always have you covered with the best Niners coverage right here on YouTube. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll catch you tomorrow in the studio.